What the fuck's going on this team, Jerry?
Bury him! Bury him!
Jerry, TJ Watt.
He is the best defensive player on the planet.
Go! Yes! Yes! We're going to fire! Steelers fans! Bang! Run it down their throat!
No! That's not a penalty!
Game over! Game over! Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
He's aggressive.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime jersey, Jerry. Jerry Don, what the fuck happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Cleveland last night? I mean, is this team ever going to win a Thursday night football game on the road, ever in the history of football? Or can we just accept that if it's a Thursday night road divisional game, chalk it up as an L?
Dude, just one of the more frustrating losses we've had in quite some time. I'd rather get blown out at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd rather get fucking curb stomped. The thing, that game was so fucking weird, man. Listen, I'm not blaming any type of weather at all. I know some players have blamed the weather and whatnot. I think what it came down to was Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin continuing to try the same thing over and over again on those third and shorts and those fourth down plays. They're running into 7-8 man boxes. I mean, just nonstop. There's no like it's just so obvious what they're doing. And we'll talk about Tomlin's calls later on a little bit, but like I think the play calling was a problem a little bit last night. I really do. There was times where it looked like pretty good. We were moving the ball well, passing, and then just all of a sudden it just stops. It's just like the same story over and over again with this team. They have to figure out a way to get more creative on those third and shorts and those fourth and shorts.
Yep.
The only thing they do is on those third and shorts or fourth and shorts, they're either going to run the ball right up the middle or they're going to throw a fly route to George Pickens.
Yep.
That's just what they do.
That's
on those
the
plays.
offense. That's the offense. They started again last night. And all week I've been beating the fucking drum. This team is different. This will prove that this team is different. Fuck a trap game. I'm tired of hearing about a Tomlin special. We're done with all that. They go out, they start the game. It looks like every other one of those losses. They start slow, and you said it. For whatever reason, their MO early in games, at least the first half, is run the ball. For fuck's sake, man, try something different. When they did throw the ball, they had great success, but it's like they just go away from it so early.
Kev, the thing that's wild to me is, listen, and I don't think Russell Wilson had a perfect game by no means, especially in the first half. He took two really bad sacks that he shouldn't have took.
Agreed.
Pretty much cost us a field goal because it pushed us back even further.
First drive, that's his thing. He needs to just stop holding the ball so long on third downs if you're in field goal range. If you have nothing there, I'd rather just throw that fucker away and take the field goal.
Exactly. But the thing is this. In a game like that, in those conditions, Russell Wilson threw the ball for 270 yards.
Yep.
Clearly, something's working in the passing game, right?
Yep.
Why not just keep passing the fucking ball at that point? I know the weather sucks, but he's showing you like, hey, I can throw the ball in this. They continue to just run. It was just a nightmare. I mean, from the start, you just knew that this game was going to be really, really difficult to win from the start.
Jerry, let me ask you this. And obviously, we know Arthur Smith. We mentioned it a few episodes ago. He tells us when we're on the sideline, fan of the show. So I'm not going to fucking full-on bury this guy after last night. I thought he did not have a great game as an offensive coordinator last night. However, it looked so much like what Matt Canada looked for the Steelers. Just stubborn, just refusing to do anything different on the third and shorts, on the fourth and shorts, running into 7 and 8 man boxes. After Russ shows you that they can push the ball downfield with success, even in the elements. And Jerry, it was a blizzard. Don't get it twisted. It was fucking a blizzard out there in Cleveland. Still, it makes me wonder, is it because Mike Tomlin just says, look, early in games, we're not going to beat ourselves. And that is the plan. That is the plan, that they refuse to do anything different, because Matt Canada, Arthur Smith, that looks a lot like the Scooby-Doo. You ever see when Scooby-Doo catches the bad guy last night, who's under the mask? I feel like who's under the Arthur Smith mask was Matt Canada last night. It's the same shit. We've seen it so many times over and over. That has to be coming from Mike Tomlin, Jerry.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, the shitty part is we'll never know. You know what I mean? Ultimately, we'll never know the truth behind that. But they, like I said, they have to get more creative. Arthur Smith has to get more creative on those 3rd and shorts and those 4th down plays. Listen, there's times like it's what's so crazy to me, because there's games where I feel like Mike Tomlin doesn't go for it, and he should go for it. And then there's games like last night where I felt like you shouldn't have gone for it maybe one of those times and punt the ball back and pin them deep, and he decides to go for it. The last couple of weeks, he's shown that he's very, very aggressive, but we have to talk about the clock management with Mike Tomlin. It has been a problem for a very, very long time.
Been a problem his whole career.
Yeah, but at the end of halves and at the end of games, he really struggles to manage that fucking clock, bro. Because there's a couple things, Kevin, and you could attest to this. Whether it was he should have accepted the penalty or shouldn't have, forget about it. The first Nick Chubb run, at that point, just let him fucking score.
Let him in the end zone. Let him in the end zone.
Just let him in the end zone. You already burned your fucking timeout, okay? Just let him in the end zone. Give Russ more time, a minute and a half, minute and 35 seconds, something like that, with one timeout to try to score a touchdown. Instead, you don't let him score. Then it seemed like they kind of, in a way, let him score the following play.
They did.
Now you're at 50. Yeah, you're at 50 seconds with one timeout. What do you, like, we're not Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like, we don't have that ability to, like, come back in games like that with two plays. You know what I mean? We just don't. Right. We just don't. Mahomes has that type of magic. The Steelers don't. Their offensive coordinator has that type of magic to scheme up and score the ball in fucking 40 seconds, 30 seconds. You know, we don't. So he needs more time, okay? And he mismanaged that at the end of the game. It was a fucking disaster, bro. And I'm not blaming Boz. I'm not blaming George Pickens. There was a podcast that I listened to that literally blamed George Pickens for the loss because of the last play. That was crazy. Listen, George is a head case. But you don't blame George Pickens for that game at all. At all. The only thing I'll say, Kev, on the last play is, what I will say is, it seemed like the receivers, one, didn't know where the ball is. Two, they just don't turn around and look for it. They just they're staring in the back of the end zone when they should be staring to the front of the end zone. So I didn't understand that. But all around, I mean, that performance was a D.
I mean, it's a complete team loss. That is a complete team loss. There was no pass rush, Jerry. We had no pass rush whatsoever in that football game. You would have thought we were going to absolutely dominate the Browns from the pass rush standpoint. We got, other than the Herbig strip sack, which was massive, absolutely incredible. That guy is a playmaker. Love to see it. Yes. Maybe the only guy that played great on defense last night. Cam had some plays here and there. But TJ Watt, yet again, you know, we're not going to ride him. We're not going to ride him. But they have to move him around, Jerry, because teams are just simply scheming him out entirely. They're scheming him out of the game. And last year, all the shit that we gave Myles Garrett for going those last 6 weeks with no sacks, TJ the last few weeks has been nearly irrelevant. And I hate saying that. I fucking love the guy, but like, we got to keep it 100. That comes down to coaching, though, because they are just scheming him out entirely. Yesterday on the Jameis Winston touchdown, the quarterback keeper to the right side that basically broke our fucking soul at that point in the game. They chip TJ, so the tackle has him, and then the guard comes over and literally knocks him 15 yards down the field. So he's at the 15-yard line while Jameis Winston is in the end zone. He has to get through a guard and a tackle on these plays. You know, we don't blitz. I don't think that we hardly ever blitz anymore.
No, we never blitz. We never blitz at all.
They expect just Herbig or Highsmith or TJ or Cam Hayward to force the pressure. And if it doesn't get there, the secondary, you know, they have all day. It felt like Jameis Winston had all fucking day back there last last night. They just could not put him on the ground. And so these are things they're going to have to start making adjustments now. Again, you're going into the stretch run of the season, and it's some of these little things that, peek through different times in the season that start to worry me. If the pass rush doesn't get home, is the back end of the defense going to be fine? And yet again, last night, you saw Joey Porter Jr., I didn't think had a very great game.
No,
now, granted, a lot of push-offs. He's getting pushed off in the fucking face mask. No calls. I thought the officiating, they just didn't call really hardly anything. But the back half of the defense had some problems because the front seven just was nearly non-existent. And it comes back to, if teams are gonna do that to TJ Watt every single week, you got to move him around, or you got to start blitzing up the middle too, forcing teams to know, look, you can't just slide outside to stop TJ Watt.
Yeah, and they refused to blitz. I think they blitzed maybe like a total of 3 or 4 times that game, if that. They just
insane.
don't blitz, man. They don't blitz. They rely on that front four to get some rush, and it's clearly the last couple of weeks just not really working, dude. It's not working at all.
Right.
And the fact that the Mike Tomlin got outcoached in that game is wild to me. It's baffling to me. It really fucking is. I thought, me and you were on the same page. I thought there was a chance early in the week trap game. I did. But as the week went on, I was like, no, man, they're a different team. They're just a different team this year. And sure enough, boom, what do? They come out, they fucking stink, bro. They stink. And granted, conditions were tough. But listen, they're going to have a short memory of this. They really are, because these next couple of weeks are brutal for them. It is brutal for them. So they better have a I don't even know the word. I'm fucking drawing a blank. Whatever. Short memory on this game. But one thing I will say is, I thought a lot of people got involved last night on offense. I will say that.
Yep.
He spread the ball out a little bit more than usual, which was nice. But it just comes back to, if it's working, why are we just going away from it? Why? Why not come out in the fucking first quarter and pass the ball fucking 12 times? Why not do that? Why not try that? See how that works for you.
You saw Freiermuth when he gets the ball, dude. He's fucking great. And it's not even just because he's our boy, or we talk to him regularly. When he gets the ball, he is such a fucking weapon. And I feel like he just never gets the ball. They just no. And when they do give him the ball, it's 20 yards, it's 15 yards. He's gashing the defense. He's open over the middle of the field. He has great hands on the outside. They're just not getting him the football. And so that's one of those things. You're gonna have to. You have a long week now. You have 10 days from Thursday night's game till Sunday's game against the Bengals next week, which is going to be an absolute dogfight. And now you've really put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, because Bengals offense scores in buckets. That defense is terrible, but it's not like our offense is just threatening everybody that they play. So they're going to have to be ready for that game. And it's going to come down to, what are you going to do on 3rd and 1? What are you going to do on 4th and 1? Because that, to me, was the key to the game last night. So many times the Steelers have a short 3rd and 1, short 4th and 1, and they can't get the fucking first downs. The offensive line gets very little push. On the one that they let Justin Fields keep to the right side, there are 2 linemen that don't even know that they're coming onto the field until there's 10 seconds left. They were walking off, and then Fields is calling them back on. They let Fields keep it. I seen Alex
Kozora post that.
They had no idea what they were doing, dude.
That's another thing, Kev. I don't know if you agree with me on this, but the constant change got to stop. I think it just has to stop, the constant change, because Justin Fields even said it himself. He felt like he should have scored that play, but he was so cold, he
got run down.
Cold.
He got run down.
Yeah, he got run down, and that's a play where he scores 10 times out of 10. Right. It's just listen, I don't know how they'll scheme up Justin Fields, but I wouldn't say don't use him at all. I want to use Fields, but the constant back and forth last night was fucking crazy. And to have him come into the game ice cold to throw a fucking 40-yard bomb on the left sideline when you haven't thrown a fucking pass in 6 weeks is fucking crazy.
That to me was so I don't disagree with you. I don't love the bring him in, bring him out, because, I was on the Steelers sideline, had phenomenal seats. So you can see a lot of things when the players are coming off the field. You can see who they're talking to. It's an advantage that I love whenever I can be on the road and I can actually legitimately see how the players react when they come off the field. So they put Fields in. He has that long run down the right sideline that you alluded alluded to he should have scored on. He even said he was cold. He didn't think he should have got run down. Russ immediately then starts walking back on the field. Okay. They call Russ off. After the next play, Russ walks back on the field. They call Russ off. Then Russ is like looking like, he doesn't know quite what's going on. Yeah. I just don't think the Steelers have quite figured out yet how they want to use that blend of Fields and Russ. I think there's value to it, but I agree with you.
I do too. I just don't know what it is though.
You can't put him in there and then expect him on 3rd and 4 with the game on the line. You get that first down, likely the game is over, or it's much closer to being over. It puts the Browns in a very bad spot then. Gets the clock down to the 2-minute warning. They're going to burn all their timeouts. You ask him to throw a 40-yard go ball. Now, granted, it is one-on-one coverage with the Browns' third cornerback, so you would think George Pickens has a high chance there. But I don't love the play call. It's the same play style that they ran last week whenever you had Calvin Austin on 3rd and 1, a deep go ball. Like, it's situational football you have to be better at. They have got to be better. Like, I get it, even if it's George Pickens one-on-one on the outside, that's still not a high percentage, not high enough percentage play for me to want to run it to seal the fucking game with a quarterback who's coming fresh off of being cold on the bench and not throwing a pass in 6 weeks, like you said. So, like, they need to figure out how to marry the two of both Fields and Russ, because there is immense value there, but they have to figure out how to blend them, much like the Saints know how to use Taysom Hill. Like, they're going to have to figure that aspect of it out.
Yeah. And I think they did that play because for weeks they have shown, 2 weeks now, when Justin Fields comes in the game,
it's a run.
He's either handing it off or he's going to run the ball. So maybe Art was trying to confuse him. I get that. I don't like where we were at in the game to call that play, though. I will say that. Another thing is, Myles Garrett dominated that game. Credit to him for sure. Like, he dominated that game. 3 sacks in the first half.
He did.
TJ didn't really step up to the plate that game, but a guy sucking his own dick like that is crazy. Not an ounce of humility. What a fucking piece of shit. Your team is 3-8. You guys fucking suck. You beat us great by fucking a couple points. I mean, the Steelers gifted them that game. Gifted it to them.
Oh, yeah.
Gifted. The Steelers beat themselves. The Browns did not beat the Steelers in that game. They just did not. I mean, you have the lead late. You come back. You're forcing turnovers. You're making splash plays. You have the lead with a couple minutes left, and they shit on themselves. They did, but Myles Garrett, all-time fucking scumbag, just a me-first type of guy to say those type of comments after the game. Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm at the point now where I don't even give a fuck about the Bengals game. I just want to fucking smash the Browns in 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know how to react, but I know the Bengals game is big, and I don't know if, like, players think the same way as fans sometimes, but you got to know they've heard all those comments after the game.
Yep.
Is it a look past the Bengals spot? I hope it's not, because they'll get fucking steamrolled. But, I mean, if they're feeling like I'm feeling, I don't even give a fuck about the Browns game, the Bengals game. I can't wait to play the Browns again.
Jerry, you know what's interesting is all the shit these teams in the AFC North that are bums. You know, the Bengals linebacker comes out yesterday and says, I guarantee we beat the Steelers next week. I guarantee it that we beat the Steelers next week. You know, and then after the game, you have Myles Garrett with an all-time douchebag segment. Just an all-time douchebag segment. Yeah. I get it, yeah. Dan Moore turned back into a fucking pumpkin on the outside. He finally comes back down to earth, and you love to say that Dan Moore bottles up Myles Garrett. And last night, Dan Moore was a problem for us.
That was bad.
A problem for us.
Bad.
Myles Garrett stands up there and he tells, if you haven't heard the interview, I suggest you look it up. Myles Garrett post-game against the Steelers. He's up there. The defensive player of the year runs through me. I'm the guy. You know, I came out. I played great tonight. Me. What a fucking cocksucker. I mean, this guy, have some awareness, buddy. Have some self-awareness. You're on a bad football team. You've outplayed the TJ Watt and had a good game against the Steelers maybe twice in your entire career, including last night. And to stand up there
the crazy part.
and just jerk yourself off on national television like that, man, you are an all-time cocksucker. And I get it. I cannot wait for 2 more weeks when they come to Pittsburgh, when the Browns come back, because you know that had to have TJ seething. To hear those comments before the game, he says TJ owes me an apology.
Oh, yeah.
This guy is a douchebag, man. Just an all-time fucking douchebag who has never won shit, was gifted a depoy last year, and yet to stand up there and do that, I mean, it made me hate him infinitely more than I already fucking hated him.
Oh, me too. Honestly, I'll say it. I hope he tears his ACL.
Oh, ooh, I'm not.
I don't give a fuck. I hope he gets injured
I
bad.
didn't say it, football gods.
I said it. I said it.
Oh, God.
I hope he tears his fucking ACL.
Oh, Jerry, don't. I just don't like to wish. I don't want to put that in the karma universe and circle back to the Steelers.
I take it back. You're right. I take it back.
Yeah, we didn't mean that. Emotions are high.
I didn't mean that. I was just talking crazy for a second. I didn't mean that.
I mean, but circling back, though, what a douchebag. And so you have Bengals that are in the basement right by the Browns talking shit. They're going to beat the Steelers. You have the Browns talking shit. Yesterday was one of those games where if you want to really establish yourself and prove that you're a bad fucking football team, that you're bad boys and you can handle it and beat teams on short weeks against the adversity, overcoming a short week, emotional game against the Ravens, and you go out there and you want to be a run-first team, you want to be a run-heavy team that just shoves it up their ass, you need to be able to finish drives. You need to be able to finish drives early. You need to be able to pick up short yardages. You need to stop the other team on short yardages. Jerry, the Browns went 1 of 10 on third down, but they went 4 of 4 on fourth down. 4 of 4 on fourth down. That is bad, real bad. And so like that's where the game was won and lost. Third down yesterday, third and fourth down. Defense couldn't get off the field. This Steelers defense, while they played great last week, they played good against the Commanders. They go out there last night and they go back to what they look like against the Colts, back to what they look like against the Cowboys. Can't get off the field on third downs or fourth downs, and it bites them in the fucking ass. Like, these are things, when you beat the Steelers, this is the recipe. This is absolutely the recipe. If you can get it to manageable on third and short or fourth and short, go for it, because we can't prove that we can beat that just yet, and that's what it's going to come down to the second half of the season. These good offenses we're going to play now with good coordinators and good schemes, they're going to employ that type of shit on the Steelers. And so it's going to have to be a lot better than it was last night, or you're going to be having this conversation with me week after week where it's like, how did we lose that game? The Steelers outgained them in yards, 368 to 304, 248 to 219 in passing yards, 120 rushing yards to 85, 17 first downs. We were 7 of 16 on third down. We gave up 4 sacks. We had the takeaways, Jerry. We beat them in the takeaways department. Every metric, time of possession, we were 35 minutes to 24 minutes. Every metric shows that the Steelers should have won that game, and yet they lost that game. And to me, that comes down to coaching, comes down to the offensive game plan, starting slow. While yes, we possess the ball, but they have nothing to show for it. I don't give a fuck about time of possession if the scoreboard's not lighting up.
Time of possession only works, okay? If you're able to, even if you have a bad offensive game, it'll work if you have the lead late in a game and you stay on the fucking football field. That's when it works, okay? It doesn't work in the first half when you have no points to show for some of these drives. It just doesn't mean anything. It'll work at the end of the game when you're trying to close out a game and your fucking offense stays on the field. Yeah. I just pray, Kevin, this is not a game where it's like they did not quit, but they're just lost and they just give up and they just realize, like, hey, we're just not good enough to beat some teams, and they drop one to the Bengals. Then at that point, you lose 2 in a row, and you're like, oh, my God, we got the Browns again. Like, to get up for a game like that after a loss is going to be really fucking tough. And who's to say? I mean, I know they lost to the Browns fucking already, but who's to say they can't lose again if they drop to the Bengals? I mean, 3 in a row would be devastating on this season.
That's not going to happen. I
really hope not.
I'll guarantee it. If that happens, Jerry, I'll give one of our followers 5 Gs. That's not going to happen. They will not lose 3 in a row. It will not fucking happen. This team is better than that. I think, some of that is us worried and overreactionary. They're not going to lose 3 in a row. And, I think a game like that, if anything, it grounds them, especially for all the shit talk after the game, man. Jerry, I woke up this morning. I came home. I drive home from Cleveland. I pass out on my couch. I don't brush my teeth. Don't put my retainers in. I have my fucking socks on. I was just deflated. Woke up immediately seething. Immediately you call, and it's right to just rage and visceral fucking energy coming out of us. They have to feel the same way. You go out there, you lose that fucking game, and then they're talking shit after. You have the Bengals now talking shit. I think that they have the ability to go out there and beat the fucking Bengals and then smack the Browns, and they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. If they are the team that we think they are, that they think that they are, they're going to have to rally. They're going to have to come back in a big fucking way next weekend in Cincinnati. And Jerry, it's going to come down to, is the pass rush going to come to play? And are the Steelers going to be willing to try and push the ball downfield? Because the Bengals are going to get theirs. The Bengals are going to score points, Jerry. And so it's going to come down to, this is going to be one of those games, might have to be a shootout. You better be ready to fucking throw the ball now.
Yeah, Kevin, I don't know if you agree with me, with the followers agree with me that watch the show week in and week out, but if it's up to me, right? If I'm Arthur Smith and it's up to me, I'm just leaving the ball in Russ's hands.
Yeah.
I'm just leaving the ball. Like, I'm not saying he had a perfect game last night, because he did not. He had a really poor first half. But Russ has already shown throughout this year there's vintage Russ left in him.
Agreed.
There is. Whether people hate on him, call him corny or whatnot, whatever, there is still that left. You've seen it last night. There was that flash of it again last night. He still has it. He's able to come from behind. It's still there. I just put the ball in his hands and let him control this fucking offense. Move the ball downfield. I want to see Russ pass the ball for 35 times. I do. I mean, clearly, this running game has not been working for a couple weeks now.
Because it's predictable. It's not that the running game can't work. It's that you have to help it. It's what we bitched about early in the season. Like, you want the run game to be successful, spread them the fuck out and then run. Why are you going jumbo and bringing in, every blocker you can bring in? They bring in Mike Williams. The guy never sees the football. No. They bring in Mike Williams just to block, and so everybody knows on early downs. I would love this if there's any stat nerds out there or anybody that has these, or you've seen it on Twitter, or you can break this down, what the Steelers' percentages of runs on first and second down is. Because it has got to be tops of the league. It's got to be league high. And so
you're not so predictable.
You're not helping the offensive line, whenever they are loading 8 men into the box, knowing full well that you're gonna run the ball right into them. Now, did Russ have a tough first half? Absolutely. I thought he left plays out there. I thought the deep ball to Calvin Austin was underthrown. While he hits him and Calvin Austin catches the ball, great. I thought it was an underthrown ball. If he leads him, it's absolutely a fucking touchdown. Instead, we had to settle for 3. He takes some of those sacks, at least 2 of those sacks, as you said earlier, were definitely Russ's fault. He left some plays out there, but he also made some other plays too. Initially, I was very hard on him, but in those elements, in those circumstances, the laser touchdown to Calvin Austin was an absolute rocket out of Russ. I think you're going to have to take the training wheels off now. Let's just see what the offense can look like a little bit, man. Let's just see what it looks like a little bit if we throw a lot.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's right. I think they should just switch their MO to, hey, we're going to pass the ball, and then that'll lead to opening up the run.
Right.
Like, switch it up, man. Switch it the fuck up,
Marry
dude.
them. Marry them better than that.
Exactly, dude. But you know what, man? I'm going to look at this as, a glass half full, and maybe this is just what they needed to get knocked back down to reality. They were riding high 5 in a row. They just beat 2 of the best teams in football. They lose to a dog shit team. Maybe this is what this team needed.
I'm tired. I am so tired of having to say that, though, dude. Every fucking year, I'm tired of saying, oh, they got a good run of football going, and then they give one of these up. Like, in my soul, it is just burning rage that we have to have that conversation. Like, and
it's
Jared,
terrible.
And again, I'm not shitting on Tomlin, because I could completely retracted most of the things that I've said about him in the last couple of weeks. I thought he was on pace for Coach of the Year. Last night, major chink in that armor. But what the hell is he doing whenever they throw? It should have been intentional grounding, first and foremost. They blitz. It was Patrick Queen blitzes up the middle, and you have Jameis Winston throws the ball. It hits his lineman, so they called it illegal touching, but it fucking should have been intentional grounding. 10 yards or 15 yards, loss of down. And yet, so Tomlin takes the penalty, backs them up the 5 yards, and so then they go for it. They end up picking up the first down. It would have been 4th and 2 if we declined that penalty, and they would have had to kick like a 42-yard field goal into the wind. The reason I think that Tomlin fucked that up is very simple. A, they make the field goal. Okay, great. Let them kick the field goal. Then we kick a field goal. We can still fucking win the game. And we would have had a lot more time. B, you don't trust, if they go for it on 4th and 2, you don't trust your defense, the highest paid defense in football, the Mike Tomlin defense, the defense that has been so good. You don't trust them to make one stop in that moment on 4th and 2 then?
Yeah.
Like, I just think he completely mismanaged the game. I think this was Tomlin's worst coach game of the season.
I think he got out coached there.
He did.
I don't think they were ever going for it.
No, I don't think they were either. I think they were playing. I think they were playing cards.
Yes, me too. And they realized they kept their offense out on the field to see what the Steelers would do.
Right.
I think they would have tried to draw them off sides. We'll never know, but I think they were going to try to draw them off sides. It didn't work. They would try to settle for the field goal.
Right.
And Tomlin, by him accepting that penalty, I don't know, man. I just
it was a bad move. It was bad coaching. Call it what it was. Like, it's okay. We've gassed him up all season. It's not like we're slighting him for reasons that aren't worthy of being slighted. Like, he coached a bad game last night. His game management, his clock management at the end of the first half was not good. Like, they don't take a timeout. They throw the ball. I think we have like 50 seconds left when we get the ball, or 40 seconds, something like that at the end of the first half, knowing that the Browns get the ball at halftime. So you got to try and squeeze a little bit of something out of there. He throws the long ball to Freiermuth, left sideline, packets like 15, 20 yards or something. The clock is moving. They run the whole offense up there and then fucking run a play. You just burned 25 seconds. Timeout. Right. Call the fucking timeout. You're not saving it at that point. Because here's the thing. You can then still throw to the outsides, the sidelines, or use the middle of the field and then spike it and kick the field goal. But you can't burn 20 seconds there. Mike Tomlin, his coaching there was awful. His coaching game management at the end, the penalty, taking it, not taking it, he fucked that all up. And then the clock management at the end, like you said, with Nick Chubb. I thought all in all, Mike Tomlin had a really, really bad coach game last night. Top down, I just don't think that the Steelers had a very good game overall. This was their worst game of the season, while they should have won. In every metric, they should have won that fucking game, and they lost. And so you have to chalk that up to what were the reasons. Coaching was bad, play calling was bad, defense had no pass rush, offensive line could not get anything going. As a whole, the only bright spot would have been the deep passing game, which is fucking there for us every single week.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, they better have the short memory of this game, man. They got the rest now. They got the mini bye. Thursday Night Football fucking sucks, but they got the mini bye. They got to bounce back, man. They got to bounce back.
What's frustrating, Jerry, is that, and we'll cut this off because Jerry has to record a commercial here very quickly, but it's that they did get the takeaway. They have the sack, they get the ball, they score immediately, they take the lead, and all year they've been resilient in those moments, and then the defense just fucking shits their diaper. But it's the defense then has the interception. You think the game is over. The defense comes up with the big interception. Dante Jackson picks it off. Oh my God, the Steelers just mounted a massive comeback. Hilarious.
12-yard fucking punt.
And then he shanks the punt, Jerry. He shanks the punt. I mean, it's hard to blame him a ton.
He's been good all year.
Right.
He's been good all year.
Elements were terrible. I mean, it was a blizzard in there. It was blowing hard. But I mean, that's just it was a loss. It was a loss. In the NFL, you're gonna have those any given Sunday. But that one that one fucking broke my heart to accept, because they could have won the game, and you have to beat those teams. You gotta beat the fucking 2-8 football teams if you really want to take the 1 seed. It hurt me on so many levels, because now the Ravens, you just let them creep right back into the divisional race after the big win last week. Now we got to be pulling for the Chargers on Monday night. But it's that now the Chiefs feel almost unattainable, or the Bills feel almost unattainable. So now it almost feels like you're hoping those teams lose games so that you can hopefully take the 3 seed, because you don't want to have to go on the road in the playoffs. I don't think that's our best route to really winning playoff games.
We've said it since day one. On the road in the playoffs, recipe for disaster.
It just hurts. Like that one fucking stung. There's not much else I can say about it. That one fucking stung. Is there anything else you want to add? I think we covered damn near fucking everything.
Yeah, no, I think we did a good job of covering everything. Appreciate everybody who listens to us weekly, man. It was just a game. I hope we don't look back on the end of the year and be like, man, if we just won that game, we'd win the division. I just hope it's not that.
Mike Tomlin better play those comments from Myles Garrett on the television all week, all this week, all next week. I want to hear the Bengals linebacker comments played on the television, and I want to hear Myles Garrett's comments, because this is a wake-up call. Look, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder the rest of the way. You're going to play harder defenses. You're going to play on the road. You're going to play mostly divisional games. They're all going to be what feel like must-win games the rest of the way if you want to win the division. So this is a wake-up call. You got busted in the fucking mouth. It's Thanksgiving. You got a long week until next Sunday. They better come out against the Bengals next week and be ready to fucking play football. They better be ready, Jerry.
Yep.
We appreciate the shit out of you guys. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. The sky's not falling, all right? The sky's not falling. No. It's very frustrating. It is a very frustrating loss, and that's what you're going to get a lot on this episode of frustration. We gassed them up for weeks, but when they come back down to earth, you got to fucking let it be heard. And so we appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hop down there, hit that subscription. Drop us a comment what you think. Are you still, Tomlin was not a problem last night? I feel as though he was terrible. Let us know what you thought about the coaching overall, the reasons they lost. We appreciate the shit out of you guys. Jerry, we will record again. So next week is Thanksgiving week. So we will record maybe Tuesday or Wednesday and get it out. Maybe Tuesday. Maybe we'll record Tuesday. We'll get one out for them as a look ahead to the Bengals game the following Sunday.
Yep. So somewhere around like the 26th, 27th.
That'll work. That'll work.
All right. I'll see you then, Kev.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.